Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Aiden, otherwise known as Roland WWFC, and welcome to a Formula 1 video whereby I'm playing Formula 1 2011, which as of this commentary is now finished. Well, 2011 season has finished, done. The champion has been crowned. Well done, Vettel. Still don't like that finger. But this video is really just a roundup, of the last race really, because I am a big F1 fan, a big sports fan, but behind football, Formula 1 I would say is my second sport, as it were. So as it's come to the end of the season, it's only natural that I do a video on it, and as I really like this game, Formula 1 2011, let's show a bit of São Paulo. While I'm going through here, I was just going through all the options there, setting up my car, pretty basic. I'll just run through what I was actually racing on. I know I was racing on professional difficulty, which is one off the top, and I'm using the racing line on braking. Everything else, I know I'm using a few more assists, which off the top of my head I can't think of. I wouldn't like to say it was yes or I'm not using it, just in case there's somebody out there that says, oh my god, you were so using that when you said you didn't. I honestly don't know. But I wasn't using all of the assists to their full, but I definitely wasn't, being hardcore and not using them at all. So on the starting grid here, looking behind myself, looking at Massa. Funny enough, it was almost the starting grid to the actual race. It's just Alonso that's out of place in my game. Didn't plan that. I actually done this race before even qualifying or free practice started, and hit Webber's front wing there. Took a bit of the end wing plate off, but nevertheless overtake Vettel down here and run wide. While this entertains your eyes, I'm just going to run through what's happened in the race. But firstly, I want to start off with a topic about Rubens Barrichello. So any of you guys who are Formula 1, people that watch Formula 1 long term, a couple of seasons back, he used to race for Ferrari. Brawn, he almost won the championship, I think it was 2 seasons ago, which Button won in the end. He's getting on now. I mean, there was a big feature on it whereby he still wants to race, but unfortunately at the moment nobody's prepared to give him that seat. And this race, São Paulo, the last race of the season, could quite honestly and in all probability be his last race, which a few of the commentators, David Coulthard, Eddie Jordan, were debating, should he go out on a high, say, look, this is my last race, applaud me off, as it were. But he doesn't want to do that. He wants to continue racing it all, and as I run wide onto the grass there, explore the track limits and beyond. But back to Rubens, he doesn't want to leave before what he sees as his prime. He's still enjoying his racing, and he wants to continue. But I can see where some of the commentators' views are, that you're delaying the inevitable really. You're going to have to retire at some point. Why not go out on a high, your home race? But at the moment he's decided not to do that. We'll only see in future if he does race the next season. Moving on to a few incidents, and both of them actually linked. Gearbox problems. For anyone who watched the race, Sebastian Vettel from lap 14, I believe, had a gearbox problem, and he was leading the race, and even with that problem he was still extending his lead over the pack. Webber was catching him, but he was effectively in the exact same car as him, but with a better gearbox, not malfunctioning, overheating I believe it was in the end. But still, even with that, he was just absolutely dominant, which is utterly scary really. But how he didn't drop back and do what eventually happened to Hamilton, who on lap 48, I believe a couple of laps previously got told that he's got an overheating gearbox, went to overtake Massa down the straight I just came down from, and he got no drive. Engine went bang straight, or not engine, gearbox went straight into neutral. That's it, race over. And yet Vettel for almost the whole race went with a dodgy gearbox. It's just unbelievable. It's almost Schumacher-esque, whereby he's got a problem, but yet somehow he manages to escape that DNF and get really good points. He'd already won the championship at that point, and Felipe has just passed me as I run wide. not good. And at this point, I'm raging inside my helmet. But my guy on the pit wall comes on to says, "Felipe, baby, stay cool, stay cool. We are in a good position right now." And what do? I deploy my DRS and right around the outside, and we take that position. Yippee! All the tools, you've got to use them. But yeah, that's effectively what happened in the race. To be honest, it was not the most dramatic race. It was quite pedestrian at times, you know, not a lot of overtaking going on, because it's not really an overtaking track, really, São Paulo. But, you know, nevertheless, it's a great track to drive. It's one of my favourite on Formula 1 2011. The actual physical game is, you know, a really nice track whereby I think everyone can race on it. It makes you look good, but, you know, I'm not blisteringly quick, as you can see here. Second place, everyone's harassing me behind, and Alonso's actually getting away from me. But no. As a season on the whole, the good, well, there's only one man really there that I can really say that, and that's Sebastian Vettel. The man got the most poles, I believe, in a single season, beating Mansell, albeit he did have more races than Mansell did, but nevertheless, just proves how dominant he's been. That one lap pace, he just seems to manage to just pull away and get pole positions. And in regards to you know, pulling away at the start of a race, how the hell does he get a 1 second lead in the first lap or more even? He just, because at the start of the race, for those of you who don't know, you can't use DRS, which is the flap which opens up, which gives you better straight line speed. It takes 2 laps for that to activate. If you're within a 1 second gap, you get to use that. Within the first lap, he's out of that range, and he's gone. Nobody can catch him, and it's just, you know, so pedestrian, race after race. He does this, and it's just absolutely mind blowing, really, how he can just do that so consistently. But yeah, hopefully with the next season, it's a little bit more competitive from the start. You know, the second end of or second half of the season has been a fair bit more competitive, with McLaren pulling up their socks as I run wide, effectively the same corner, and Massa says thank you very much, and, you know, on his way Massa goes. Silly Aiden. Look, you can see my tyres here, they're starting to wear out, and I'm not quite as confident going into the corners there. I'm not as forceful. I'm, you know, a bit twitchy on the wheel there, trying to do that. But here comes the DRS again. Do I get him back again? I'm alongside, coming into the braking zone. Oh, and I dab a tyre onto the grass. But I still ahead? No. Massa gets away from me, and I think that's how it stays. I think I do pressurise him near the end. But yeah. Moving on to the bad for the season. Really, teammate, the guy that I'm racing as. Really, Hamilton, he's, in most people's eyes, the really aggressive driver, the number 2 to what Vettel was the previous season, his closest contender. And it was really a season to forget for Hamilton. I mean, nothing seemed to go his way. Early season, he was getting called into the stewards left, right and centre, getting penalties after penalties, which sometimes, you know, being British, actually, I thought, you know, being partisan, I thought he was a bit hard done by on certain occasions. But, you know, he didn't help himself at times, and you know, it's really a season to forget for Lewis Hamilton. But hopefully, with a bit of a break, he can come back refreshed, and you know, really you know, put a shift in for next year. Really, it's going to be a case of who can compete with Vettel. I know that there's every season there's a rule changes whereby there's a big change in that department, whereby it throws it up in the air to who, you know, comes out of the blocks the quickest. McLaren notoriously have never been quick starters. And as I dive up the inside there, taking Vettel, or not even Vettel, Massa, and an oversteer moment there, and he comes back and overtakes me. I'm really pushing right here. I'm just going to talk about the commentary. It's the last lap. I've just, you know, I'm really trying to overtake Massa there. Massa brakes for me seems really early there. I caught up big time. We caught sort of like the slinky effect with whereby they're braking and things like that, and coming to this corner, braking. I've overshot it. I'm now on the grass. Oh, trying to hold it together. Everyone's swamping me and overtaking me, and I dropped down from what was 3rd place to 6th on the last lap. Kind of like when Vettel or not even Vettel. Hamilton won the race on the last corner in São Paulo. Rather amazing, really, as Fernando takes a checkered flag and I cross the line in what is 6th. So my name's Aiden, otherwise known as Roland WWFC. I hope you found that commentary interesting, and see you around.
6th position, nice drive, really well done.